Hello. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the TMI show, the Ted Manila Information Show. Of course, that right there is the Ted Rall. I'm Manila Chan. We are live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So please be sure to hit the like, the subscribe, the share, and the follow button to help our little show continue to grow.
I think we should quickly.
We need to keep the
we
time
just
frame.
list just because we end up talking about them. So I think we should just be like, we're talking about
say this, and this.
That's it, and then just do it. All right, great. We just
And then
literally
just do
worked that out on the air. That's fantastic. Let's
So,
do that.
In real time, we're having a show meeting.
Okay.
Also because Ted is gonna at very soon in the near future, right? The DMZ America is gonna come on
At 11.
live at 11.
Yeah, I think so.
So Ted's gonna go from deprogram TMI to DMZ.
That's right.
Back to back. So we got to really hunker down on these time slots. So real quickly, this day in history, Ted. Today's October 20. You know what happened in 2001? Muammar Gaddafi was Libyan rebels killed the eccentric 69-year-old so-called dictator 9 months after his regime began to unravel, capturing and shooting him near his hometown of Sirte. Gaddafi was in hiding after NATO-assisted opposition forces, America, gained control of Tripoli, preventing him from executing his desired crackdown against anti-government protesters. Libya descended into civil war after the killing, splitting the country into many rival factions. And the crisis continues today, Ted. And that was in 2001, if you can believe it. I thought it was later than that, but I guess
me
October
too.
20,
I can't believe it's been.
Right?
It's been so. No, that's not. Is that true?
That can't be right.
No, that's not true.
That's not right.
No, that's not right.
It's like
I think it's 2011. I think it's after the
11.
Arab Spring.
Yeah, because Hillary Clinton was there as secretary.
That's right.
I'm going to say
maybe 2010, or
maybe they got the numbers mixed up. I was like, wait a minute, this is not right.
It was when Hillary Clinton was 2011.
11. I'm going to say
it is. You were right. I mean, we were right. Yeah.
It was during the Clinton secretary.
By the way, he was a good looking. I mean, he was an ugly dude.
Young.
But he was 69 when he died. He looked younger than 69.
He had a young spirit, Ted. It was the fashion. It was the hot babes used to protect him. That'll keep you young, Ted.
No, that's true. I mean, seriously, if I woke up every morning and walked into my office and there were like those hot chicks with like big guns guarding my ass,
and like nunchucks,
I would be totally like, I'd feel good. I'd be like, look at that.
Yeah, poor guy.
They were easy on the eyes, that's for sure.
Yeah. What a way to go down, man, after you bring your country out of abject poverty. Anyway, so that's this day in history.
It is actually shameful and disgusting. Yeah.
It's terrible. That's not a way for a guy like that to go down, who took power in a bloodless coup.
A lot better. Yeah. I would say the same thing about Saddam.
Bloodless coup. Same thing with Saddam, same thing. Yeah. But Ted,
they deserved better.
Every time, okay, look, obviously NATO cracked down on Libya with these anti-government protests. Who do you think was funding all the anti-government protests? Anytime there's an anti-government protest in a country where the U.S. deems as hostile, I wonder who funds all those protests and where they get arms.
I blame Clovis.
He is the number one arms dealer in the world. So on today's show, outside of that,
for that arms money, this show would never be able to survive.
Obviously. So on today's show, we're going to talk about the very short-lived ceasefire in Gaza. We'll talk about the Zelensky meeting with Donald Trump. Also, we'll talk about Kristi Noem getting 2 fancy Gulfstream jets, because Ted, you have to be fashionable. When you're Kristi Noem and shooting puppies.
We'll call it fashionable.
Fashionable. And last but not least, the holidays are coming up, and Legos are a thing. Obviously, multi-billion-dollar industry. Legos. Huge theft ring in California was busted. Kind of weird story, but
well, I mean, I
many.
understand the inherent, as a father, I understand the inherent value of Legos more than Bitcoin. Let's put it that way.
Yes. And let's not forget the inherent value of the ability to use them as booby traps.
Wait, what?
To use Legos as booby traps?
Where? Like in the Middle East?
In the house. Like in Home Alone.
Oh, I was going to be like, yes.
Nothing hurts more than stepping on a Lego in the middle of the night when you're coming down for a glass of water and there's Legos laid out.
Oh, I know. It's really true. Yeah.
It really hurts. And every parent will go through that. Anyway, so that's what's on the show. Let's hop to it. I'll jaws it.
All right, the U.S. brokered ceasefire in Gaza has survived its first major test. I love that word, test, as Israel and Hamas affirmed their commitment to the deal after 2 IDF soldiers were killed in Gaza on Sunday, and after which the Israelis launched waves of airstrikes. The IDF said in a statement that it would begin a renewed enforcement of the ceasefire at the direction of the political echelon. Hamas and its military wing, Al-Qassam brigades, said that they're still committed to the ceasefire and said they weren't involved at all in that alleged attack against the Israelis. The stated commitment to the ceasefire came as the deal's key architects, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, are about to arrive in the region as Trump administration moves to implement the next phase of the agreement. Now things are going to get hard. J.D. Vance is also expected to lead a U.S. delegation to Israel this week. The administration remains focused on implementing the peace agreement, and we are working vigorously with our partners to do so. A U.S. official told CNN, we're not going to detail ongoing private diplomatic conversations. Earlier in the day yesterday, Israel carried out a series of airstrikes, of course, and this was in retaliation for the killing of the 2 IDF soldiers, probably not by Hamas. Hamas was very clear that they didn't have anything to do with it. There's lots of breakaway non-Hamas related organizations. There's Islamic Jihad, with whom Hamas had a very tentative kind of alliance against the Israelis with, but there's a bunch of criminal gangs and and people who were traitors, who were spies for Israel. Some of those people are allegedly some of those people have been executed on the streets of Gaza lately by Hamas. The 2 IDF victims are Major Yanif Kula, 26 years old, Staff Sergeant Itay Yavetz, marking the first time that IDF soldiers have been killed in Gaza since the ceasefire began. So the ceasefire is extremely fragile, Manila.
Yeah, and Ted, there's also a lot of reason to believe this chatter that I'm hearing about basically this being IDF false flags, where they're they're going to launch rockets from other positions on the other side of the line, from, let's say, I don't know, closer to the Golan Heights area, and shooting it this way towards Israel, and then blaming Hamas. And there's a lot of online chatter about that's supposedly some intelligence, because we know, Ted, that Netanyahu didn't really want to bring the death toll or destruction to an end. Now that they've gotten their hostages, alive and dead, back, now they're like, okay, let's continue the free-for-all and just take all of Gaza.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So I don't know. Look, I think that, honestly, I don't have much hopes for this ceasefire to last. Yeah. I think, Robbie and I were talking about that on Deprogram, and it doesn't seem to be like there's much chance. There's just no motivation. The Israelis are going to blow it up. As I see it, the only way this can work is if Trump exhibits something that we haven't seen in really much at all in his in his 1.5 presidencies so far, which is like a commitment, a sustained commitment to keeping his eye on the ball, focused relentlessly. He would basically have to be watching Bibi like a hawk and be like, no bullshit, no violating the ceasefire, no attacking Hamas, no excuses, just don't do it or I'm cutting you off entirely. See, the thing is, honestly, after this last thing with where the IDF launched these airstrikes, I might have cut off Bibi once and for all at that point. It's like, I told you no more bullshit, and you did bullshit, and I told you no more bullshit. Look, I thought he was pissed because of Qatar. I thought that was enough for him.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, so at this point, I think, if I were advising the president, I would say, you got to give Bibi and say, all right, that was a freebie, no more. I'll cut you off permanently, completely. I will sever diplomatic relations. I will cut your ass loose. I will end all military and intelligence cooperation. No more money, nothing. You're fucked. And I'll see you in The Hague, asshole. I think that's what I would say. But I don't see him doing that. That's why.
No, of course not. But do you think any American politician would ever have the guts, the chutzpah to do that?
Well, I think here's the question. Up until now, no. But Manila, things have really changed. I mean, okay, so AIPAC is powerful because they throw money around, but they're also powerful because up until now, U.S. support for Israel was a bipartisan thing, and it was popular across voters of both parties. The polls have shown that's really not true anymore. I mean, most Americans overwhelmingly support Palestine over Israel. Most Jews in America support Palestine over Israel. Once you're at that
wild,
it's wild. So once you're at that point, I'd say, all right, where's your power? AIPAC can buy votes, sure, but I mean, hell, there could be like there could be a PAC, there could be a Palestine organization that would just pay for votes, right? I mean, the point is
PALPAC.
The power is gone, I think. I mean, at some point, it's how it is. It's like the Roman Empire rules everything until they don't. It's like, everyone's non-defeatable until they're defeatable. The Yankees win every World Series until they don't. It's like, that's just, how it is. And so I think, the Israelis' days are highly numbered.
Glory days.
The glory days are over, right? Over. And the thing is, I've been saying this over and over. Mark my words, Manila. When the media gets in there and the bulldozers get in there and they start finding all the fucking mass graves and all the people buried under the rubble, some of it on purpose by the Israelis, and they discover all the war crimes and the torture, and and Western reporters get in there and start interviewing, and it's going to be a fucking bonanza for everyone who ever hated Israel. So, it's at that point, they think right now, oh, our numbers are going to bounce back. No. People Zionists, your numbers ain't never going to be this good ever again.
Yeah. Post October 7. Yeah. That's the best numbers you'll ever see. And after, you're right. I hadn't thought about that. Like the cleanup crew, when that goes in and the reconstruction phase begins.
500,000 Palestinians have been killed. I mean, Trump basically admitted that.
God,
he admitted that. Trump, he gave a speech. He said, we know there's between 1.7 and 1.8 million Palestinians. Well, in Gaza. Well, the pre-war population was 2.3. Okay.
Math is hard for Americans.
It's not even math. It's arithmetic. It's subtraction.
The 3 R's in school. Well, Ted, look, I look forward. I'm not counting on it, but I look forward to the day that the United States doesn't stand apart from the vast majority of the world, according to the for lack of a better term, we'll say the polling at the UNGA last month, where the U.S. is among the tiny minority of countries in the world that side with Israel. The vast majority of countries around the world, we're talking like 157 countries, back Palestine. So I look forward to the day that the U.S., and I don't think it'll ever happen, but I hope that one day the U.S. will join the majority and not be part of this bad minority where we always sit. And once we join that other side, Ted, there might be a chance for more global peace to break out. But then what'll happen to all the buddies at the DOD?
Well, that's gonna be sad for them. More job losses.
Really,
Manila,
so
we've
sad.
got like a question from Adrian over on the Rumble chat asking. I'm really glad that they asked about this. Are you sure about that last stat, Ted? Yes, I am. Here, I'm going to read an article, part of an article from CBC, that's the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is very mainstream. It's called 1.7 million Palestinians in Gaza. Trump's statement raises questions about death toll. President Donald Trump's assertion that the U.S. can relocate 1.7 or 1.8 million Palestinians has raised questions about the death toll in Gaza. This story is from February 13th. Gaza's population was estimated at over 2.2 million before the war. Devi Sridhar, chair of global public health at the University of Edinburgh, said she found Trump's numbers puzzling and a potential confirmation that the death toll is actually much higher, something that researchers, doctors, and public health experts have long said was the case. I was just surprised that I saw that and no one even flinched. They were just like, oh, okay, 1.7 left. And I'm like, where did the 500,000 or 400,000 people go? She said. Sridhar said she would expect Trump has received the best intelligence on the matter, and the fact that he has cited the number several times suggests that it came from American or Israeli officials. The White House did not respond to requests for comment.
Yeah, it's simple arithmetic.
Sridhar also warned of the possibility of a death toll in the hundreds of thousands, given the scale of destruction, lack of health facilities, plumbing and sanitation, as well as the lack of food and clean water. In the scientific community, those estimates have kind of been accepted as back of the envelope based on other conflicts, she said. Yara Asi, author of How War Kills: The Overlooked Threats to Our Health, and assistant professor in the School of Global Health Management and Informatics at the University of Central Florida, says the number's not surprising at all, saying that...
Pause. Adrian saying, no, he was referring to the stat about the majority of U.S. Jews being pro-Palestine.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm still glad I answered that question anyway, though.
Yeah, well, anecdotally, I will say the vast majority of the Jews in America that I know, I would say 6 or 7 out of American Jews I know are on the Free Palestine.
Oh, here we go. Here's the number you're looking for. WAPO poll from October 6th finds that 48% oppose Israel, 46% approve of Israel. These are Jews. Poll of Jews only.
Yeah. So I mean that. Obviously, it's skewed when we look at it anecdotally, like the people that Ted would know, the people that I would know.
I'm talking about national poll.
Yeah, so for me, it's more like 6 or 7 out of 10 American Jews I know. Let's say 6. Let's go with the low end. 6 out of every 10 American Jews I know are anti-Zionist.
Oh yeah, maybe 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, maybe even more for me, but I'm going to go conservatively and say at least 6, if not 7 or 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, are anti-Zionist. Not that they're like...
and the Zionists these days...
I hate myself.
They're sheepish. It's got to be it. I almost feel sorry for them because they have such an untenable position. have you ever had... Mel, have you ever had a job where you had a boss who made you go out and talk bullshit to people, to like a client or like another company? Like I had my boss would be like,
I was a car salesman.
Right, there you go.
Come on.
And you feel foolish, right? Like when you're like, it's one thing to lie for yourself, but when you're lying for someone else, you really are just like, oh, I hate this, And it's
yeah, I hated that. The phone calls, like the lost leads that I had to pick up and call from the logs that came in. Like, you're like, why didn't they buy from this other salesman or whatever, my boss would be like, you're good on the phone. Go talk to, and I'm like, and that's only because they hear a girl's voice on the other end. So people are, more amenable to talking to me because I'm a girl.
Yeah,
but then I'm
true.
saying all this
Women
bullshit
are more
script.
trusted, even if they're not more trustworthy.
Right. Bottom line, I was the car salesman.
Right. So, yeah.
So there you go. But I'm saying all of these things that are scripted and I'm coached to say, and I hated every moment of it. But because it just felt, even though I was good at it.
I did telemarketing. Great example.
Right. And it just feels.
By the way, if you're selling something that you believe in, like it's the opposite. Like think about it. When you go to a restaurant where the food is always good, the waiters are in such a good mood because they're there flogging great food. Everyone's happy. They feel proud of the product that they're delivering. Yeah.
They love eating the food. Like they get to take food home.
But they also know that there's no one. They also don't feel bad about their job. They're like, of course, my product is excellent. Yeah.
So this is like not that. That's what's not happening with this.
No, not if you're a Zionist, man. It's like I almost feel sorry for you, even though you're a shit. So there's that.
Like, yeah, there's like how do you even?
How do you live with yourself?
Do you really believe those? Do you believe the things that you're saying, or are you forced into saying them like I was as a car salesman? I was. You just kind of forced into saying it.
It's like, are you stupid, or what's the story exactly?
Like. I don't know who's holding your paycheck hostage, but you're forced into saying those things. So I feel like that's a lot of the American Jews I know. I don't know about everywhere else, like Westerner Jews, but the American Jews I know.
I wouldn't mind a more honest approach, sort of like, I don't give a shit about Palestinian children. It's okay with me.
Oh God, if you're just
okay, all right, at least you're a racist. We understand. That's cool.
Well, look,
Robbie has thoughts.
I feel sheep. No, we're not. We're going to stay on time. I feel sheepish. I feel sheepish about. I'm not going to ever say her name, but I have a super hot Israeli girlfriend. She was in the IDF and whatever, right? And she known her for a long time. We used to work together. Super hot. I think I've shown you a picture, Ted. She's super hot.
Yeah, you did.
She's super hot. Super Zionist. Super
Zionist, really. Mm-hmm.
Super Zionist, and she's gotten to
super Zionist.
She's gotten to the point where she doesn't even try to defend the Israeli side in like a diplomatic manner. She's now at the point where she's just like, fucking kill them all. Where I'm just like,
whoa.
Oh, I just saw recently. I never go on social media. Yeah, I never go on social media, and I did this weekend just to look at my email, my inbox, and I saw her in my feed, and I went, "Oh, how's she doing?" Oh,
it's like that.
Oh, it's almost like I feel in my stomach when she's gotten to this point where I almost feel in my stomach that it's kind of sick to call her my friend. Like, can I call somebody my friend that is saying such vile things about innocent civilians and children? She's a mother of two.
Yeah,
she suffers losses.
It is challenging. It is challenging for sure.
So I have like this moral dilemma of like, well, I don't really talk to her anymore, once in a blue moon, but can I still call her a friend even like when she's saying something so horrible? Like, can I? Well, so I just didn't say anything. I didn't unfriend her.
I think that's a tough call. To each his own.
That's a tough, yeah. So I don't really go on social media, so I'm just gonna pretend that I didn't see these vile posts. But anyway, speaking of vile, gross people, as we mentioned last week, Zelensky was here. So, and Ted, can I just point out? Let me just first point out. I found out after the fact, right, on Friday. I found out after the fact, after the show, obviously, because that's when the meeting happened. I found out. So Zelensky is photographed outside holding his own mini press conference at Lafayette Park,
which is a mini person, so he's a mini press conference.
He had a mini presser But here's the important thing. So, I mean, first of all, had I known that the Trump administration was going to kick his ass out of the premises as soon as the meeting was over, that he was forced to have his presser outside of White House grounds at Lafayette Park, I would have shown up to fucking heckle him. Because it's the little park that's facing the north lawn of the White House,
where there are often a lot of protesters there.
Yes. That's how little Trump thought of him, that he did not allow Zelensky to have a press conference on White House grounds where he'd have been safe.
That speaks highly of Trump.
So that tells me something, but I'm like, damn it, that's a missed opportunity. I could have shown up and heckled him and be like, Mr. Zelensky, how tall are you? Like,
not very tall. Not very tall at all.
I just would have shown up to
But I can play the piano with my penis.
Oh God, I would have shown up just to heckle him. But anyway, because it's at a public park. That's how little the Trump administration thought of him, and that is very telling. And now the details are coming out about the meeting. So here's how it went. So Trump pushed Zelensky to give up swaths of territory to Russia during this meeting on Friday that left the Ukrainian delegation disappointed, according to two people briefed on the discussion.
What do they think is going to fucking happen?
Well, I have some thoughts. Look, so Trump also declined to provide Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine's use and mused about giving security guarantees to both Kiev and Moscow, according to the Ukrainian delegation, and that they found that confusing. After this meeting,
nothing confusing about it.
After this meeting with Zelensky, Trump publicly called for a ceasefire at the current front lines, a position that the Ukrainian president then embraced in comments to reporters, because obviously he had no freaking choice. If Trump is saying this, like, otherwise you're gonna look like a big schmuck. A third person said Trump came up with the proposal during the meeting. So Trump, as we know, doesn't go in with a plan. He just kind of goes where the wind blows, like during the meeting, right?
He just wings it, yeah.
He just wings it, right? So after Zelensky said he would not voluntarily cede any territory to Moscow, quote, the meeting ended with Trump's decision to make a deal where we are on the demarcation line, says the source. This is them talking to Reuters.
Well, that's Trump. By the way, that's exactly what President Rall would do too.
Everybody has said that. Trump underscored the position in remarks to reporters on Sunday when he was on Air Force One. He said, we think that what they should do is just stop at the lines where they are, the battle lines. The rest is very tough to negotiate if you're going to say, you take this, we take that. Asked if he had told Zelensky that Ukraine must cede all of the Donbass region to Russia, Trump said, no, let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia. You leave it the way it is right now. They can negotiate something later on down the line, which I think is actually reasonable.
That's true.
So the sources say, oh, it was pretty bad. One of the sources telling Reuters, the message was, your country will freeze and your country will be destroyed if Ukraine doesn't make a deal with Russia. That's basically the takeaway.
And I think that's true with or without Donald Trump.
Obviously. A separate source denied that Trump said that Ukraine, well, I'm going to guess that second source is on the Ukrainian delegation, but both sources said that Trump resorted to profanity several times.
Good.
I can see that for sure. The two sources had the impression that Trump was influenced by a Thursday call with Vladimir Putin. During that call, Putin proposed a territorial swap in which Ukraine would cede the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk in return for small parts of Zaporizhia and Kherson. One of the sources said the U.S. officials proposed precisely that to Zelensky on Friday. And then the two sources said the U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff was among those who most aggressively urged the Ukrainians to agree to Russia's swap proposal. Witkoff mentioned that Donetsk and Luhansk have significant Russian-speaking populations. That's all true. On Thursday, before meeting with Zelensky, Trump said he would soon physically meet with Vladimir Putin in Budapest. A Kremlin aide said shortly after the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov would speak in the coming days to prep for that summit. So this week is a big week. They're going to Budapest, which is interesting because, well, we'll talk about that in a second, with the whole Hungarian position. So in the Friday meeting, U.S. officials said Rubio planned to meet with Lavrov on Thursday. The State Department has not confirmed, but overall, it wasn't a total disaster for Ukrainians. The Friday discussion was a clear disappointment for Zelensky, who had hoped to convince Trump to supply the government with long-range Tomahawk missiles capable of hitting deep inside Russia. Ted, I would say the only reason the Ukrainian delegation was like, it wasn't a total disaster, is only because in February, when J.D. Vance kicked his ass in the Oval Office and they didn't even let him stay for lunch, when you compare it to that, that was a total disaster. Anything short of that is not a total disaster. So I guess this meeting wasn't a total disaster, but I think Trump is over it. I thought, after the UNGA, when he tweeted those weird, like this bizarre tweet about, oh, maybe Ukraine can take all the land back. Maybe they can, like, I was looking at those tweets and I was like, what the F are you thinking, bro? No, they can't. Unless you're going to send in NATO troops, unless you're going to send in American soldiers, there is zero chance that Ukraine can win back the eastern portions that have been taken over by Russia. It's just not gonna happen. Ukraine is gonna end up a rump state, and that is the only way that there is going to be an end to this bloodshed. There is no other way. The Russians are going to keep grinding on, and for whatever reason, I still can't figure this out, and I've thought about this for weeks. I cannot understand why EU leaders, the Europeans like Ursula von der Leyen and Mark Rutte, why they're all trying to goat Putin into continuing west and northward toward Kiev and towards the Polish border, except for that they're trying to trigger Article 5 of NATO. I mean, I don't see any other reason, because we know that Moscow doesn't want to go that far west. They don't, right, because that's actually the seat of where all the Ukrainian Nazis actually are on the western side. They don't want that.
No, exactly.
They don't want that.
That's right.
Yeah, they want the eastern side as a buffer, as a neutral zone, and then a land bridge down
of a classic skit.
Water.
Do you ever listen to the Von Meter First Family satire LP?
No.
It was making fun of the Kennedy administration, and it was a massive hit. The First Family, it sold millions of copies. By the way, one of the side things about it was that when the First Family 2 sequel album came out, it hadn't been released at the time of the Kennedy assassination. So the lore is that millions of these records are rotting in a warehouse in New Jersey ever since. And people are always like, I want to hear the First Family 2. Anyway, one of the skits is Premier Khrushchev having dinner at a state dinner with JFK. And he's like, what kind of sandwich will you have? What kind of sandwich will you have? And someone there says, I will have the Western sandwich. And then Khrushchev goes, then I will have the Eastern sandwich. And then JFK goes, there is no Eastern sandwich. And then Khrushchev replies, then I will have the Eastern portion of his Western sandwich. And I think Putin wants the Eastern portion of Zelensky's Western sandwich.
Yes, that's all. I mean, that was Ted. The fucked up thing is that the Westerners, America included, need to have our hearing checked, because since March of 2022, the Russians stated their goals.
True.
And here we are at Q4 of 2025. And strangely, Ted, it's almost like they don't have any Russo experts at the State Department to advise them. Here we are at the Q4 of 2025, and none of those stated goals have changed. It's almost as if the Russians were serious from the get-go.
Almost.
Like, how is it? Like, I'm no Russian scholar. I just worked with a lot of Russians for 10 years, and I understand that, first of all, they do really have an amazing sense of humor if they like you.
True.
If they trust you and like you, they let the guard down, and they're hilarious. However, when they say they want something, it's not it's the opposite of, like, Ted, and you know this because you were married to an Asian woman for many years.
Mm.
In the Asian culture, typically, I'm not saying to each particular family, but across the culture, you can make an offer to an Asian person. Like, please have a slice of cake. Oh, no, thank you. You want a slice of cake. I know you do. It's got fresh strawberries. You want a slice of cake. Oh, no, thank you. You ask the third time. On the third or fourth time, because you know the Asian person that's visiting you wants that piece of cake, but they're going to say no.
For that piece of cake.
They're saying no. They're like,
they have to say
thank
no.
you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. The Russians are not like that. They come in and are like, I would like this piece of cake.
It's like,
and that's it. And they'll just sit there and be like,
and it's kind of like, and really, you probably should give it to them.
I'll, okay. I was saving that for after dinner, but sure, I'll cut you a piece of cake.
If you could spare that cake, you probably should turn it over.
I'll give you some cake now.
Yeah.
That's basically, if you're in the diplomatic front, you have the Russians over and they're eyeballing that piece of cake. You were going to give it to them anyway because you have no other choice, right? But you were going to save it for after dinner. You know what? If Putin says he wants the cake now, just give him a piece of cake now.
That's how I look at it too. Yeah.
And we're good. It's the opposite of, like, the Asian culture of politeness or whatever. So they come off as rude and forward, and they're not crass.
Also, they're direct.
They're direct.
Which is
what Putin
frankly
said
really,
for 3
really great.
Years.
It's great.
No, I love that. At first it was an adjustment for me, both being American, who kind of Americans, we pussyfoot around too, and coming from an Eastern culture where everything is like, oh, gotta be polite, right?
Right.
To be confronted with an abrupt, like, big Russian lady telling me, do this, like, demand. And I'm like, can you be politer about that?
And the answer is niet.
But then you learn, oh, that's actually more efficient and effective if I just put my stupid Western feelings aside.
Right.
They're not trying to offend me. Once I understood that they're not trying.
They're just trying to communicate.
Yes, and that's what's happening here, and it's
a no bullshit situation.
And it's been happening since 2021 when Vladimir Putin told Joe Biden, yo, tell your Ukrainian buddies to back up. Get away from the border. We mean it. Back up. None of that has changed in 5 years since the warning calls went out. 5 years.
True.
Nothing's changed. So I think the jig is up very soon. I think Trump is aiming for next year's Nobel. Maybe next year's Nobel Prize.
Agreed.
All right. We have an ad we have to get to. Do we have that? We got to put that up. We're staying pretty close to time.
Put it up, please.
Let's put that up, Robbie. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful, Ted. And as much as I love doing our show, I do hope that this show gets interfered by with Sputnik and RT coming back. That would be, and we have our job.
I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
I know. I'm not counting on it, but one can hope.
Well, I think it's just not going to happen. I mean, it's just like, although if an agreement is made, do you think, is this even like, do you think it's a throwaway for, who knows, but whatever.
Well, I know
Let me read this
RT
out.
wants to come back. I know that.
Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin free and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic, a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does.
All right. All right. Excellent. All right. Let's move on to our girl, Christy. Like
Sweet.
Living her best life, Ted. She's living her best life.
She is living her best life. Here we go. The Department of Homeland Security has purchased 2 Gulfstream private jets for Kristi Noem, the secretary, and other top department officials at a total cost of $172 million. Now, Manila, my first thought here is, how many first class and business class flights would $172 million pay for? I bet more than Kristi Noem is ever, and her friends are ever going to be able to take. I'm just saying. The jets, which department officials said were needed for safety, are the latest expenditures on behalf of Ms. Noem to draw scrutiny from Democrats and other critics who have noted her lavish spending on living and other expenses during her time in public life. The Coast Guard put in its budget earlier this year a request to buy a new long-range Gulfstream 5 jet, estimated to cost $50 million to replace an old one previously used by Noem. They said a new aircraft was necessary to provide agency leaders with secure, reliable, on-demand communications and movement to go forward, visit our operating forces conducting the missions, and then come back here to Washington and make sure we can work together to get them what they need. Man, those are a lot of very, very vague words.
I did the math. Ted. $172 million, right, is what you said for the jets.
Yeah.
And I'm estimating, give or take for domestic flights from what I've seen for first class, let's say $1,200 per flight.
Okay, fair.
Per ticket, right? That's fair, right? Like for a domestic flight.
Yeah.
We're talking about 143,333 flights at $1,200 a piece.
That's, in other words, like if she flew every day 3 times, you wouldn't get there.
So 140,000 flights in first class, domestic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the rest of her, if she stayed in this job the rest of the 3 years.
By the way, RFK Jr. and his lovely wife were just photographed on social media flying coach.
Oh.
So that's
I love Cheryl Hines, by the way.
That's a different lifestyle. Anyway, I love that. Like, I'm just going to reread that. Secure, reliable, on-demand communications and movement to go forward. What does that mean? Visit our operating forces. Any plane can make you visit your operating forces. I can go visit our operating forces. Conducting the missions, again, you don't need a special plane for that. And then come back here. Okay, any plane can do that. And make sure we can work together. Okay, any plane can do that to get them what they need, which those are words that literally don't mean anything. Anyway. What? Documents show
those are like Kamala Harris level, like don't sit under a coconut tree because it might fall on you.
We're going to do things that we need to do because they need to be done. Anyway,
Kamala Harris work.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, according to a public government procurement website reviewed by the New York Times, showed that the department has since signed a contract with Gulfstream to buy not one but 2 quote unquote used G700 jets. Touted by Gulfstream as having the most spacious cabin in the industry because, she's not a chubby chick. She doesn't need a spacious cabin. This isn't Secretary Chris Christie. The total contract value is listed at a little over $172 million. Not immediately clear where the funding for the jets came from. I don't know, maybe they shorted Argentina some of the $20 billion we're sending them. In an emailed statement, a public affairs official at the DHS called the purchase a matter of safety. Again, okay, so if it's not safe to fly on passenger aviation, Manila,
Wait a minute.
then
Don't
okay,
small
first
jets
of all,
go down at a rate way more than
and if it's not
commercial
safe
jets?
to fly on it, yes, they do. And if it's not safe to fly on a passenger jet, I'm never going to get on one again. And my other question is, Manila, isn't there a job whose position is to assure the safety of passenger jets? Let's just say there was a cabinet department that was in charge of that. What would that be called? It would be called Homeland Security, right? So literally Homeland Security is saying that flying isn't safe. Anyway, it said that the
Pete
department's...
Buttigieg, the transportation secretary under Biden, he used to fly private.
Well, there you go. It said that the department's existing jet was over 20 years old. Oh, no, not 20 years old.
It didn't have Wi-Fi in
cabin. A plane from
Ted.
2003 could fall out of the sky just like that, and well beyond operational usage hours for a corporate aircraft. So don't fly a corporate aircraft, bitch. The statement did not respond to inquiries as to why the contract had expanded beyond the department's initial budget request. Not to mention, I mean, what a fucking wait. Not to mention the trips she does take are photo ops, right? She's not doing any mission. She goes to El Salvador and gets herself photographed against those poor schlubs in the concentration gulag and like makes fun of them. Look at these assholes in their underwear. And like,
she's like in her
that's not
selfies,
really...
like,
yeah, she's doing her duck lips
with like inmates behind her.
Yeah, is that like it's like babes behind bars like videos? Like this, like what is this about? Like she's not doing anything important at all. Okay, sorry, I'm on a tear.
It's hard. Now that I've actually done the math, $172 million. I mean, even if you're charged $2,000 per first class ticket, you and your entire entourage, we're talking about over 100,000 flights. 1,000.
Ridiculous.
100,000. So literally, you can fly probably everybody in the Trump cabinet first class for all their domestic travel for the next 4 years.
Even for their personal travel. You could literally be like all of you guys, all the deputy undersecretaries,
and your families.
And their families, deputy undersecretary, your dogs, that unless you're killing them, you can fly them all first class.
First class.
Over and over, right?
Take the entire first class cabin. And it's still cheaper than $172 million. Like
it's insane. It's insane.
Crazy. My brain cannot wrap around 143,000 flights. 143.
Well, I'm trying to think how many days, divide that by 365. I want to know what would be the number of years that would be.
392 and a half years.
That's a lot of years. I mean, Kristi Noem seems like she's in pretty good shape, but I don't think she's gonna live that long. Just going out on a
if that's just her, it'll take her 392 and a half years. So 393 years. Let's be generous.
Yeah.
Even if you spread all of those flights again among the entire cabinet, first class, their assistants, their staffers, their friends, you're still in excess. Their families, their friends and family, take a buddy on board, right? You're still in excess.
Mistresses.
No, you're still in excess of thousands and thousands of flights.
Cats.
I don't know. I can't. Why does the U.S. government need that 20-year-old plane? I don't know. Your stuff is going to be nicer than what Kobe Bryant had, and he was loaded as AF, right? Helicopters, jets.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking the richest of the richest in Hollywood. They don't have these jets. These are Larry Ellison type jets.
Yeah. Yeah. This is insane.
I can't for her because they've got to keep her safe. They specifically say that in the article. By
the way, it's her job to keep people safe on planes.
I just can't.
Right? It's her job. Keeping planes safe is literally her job.
oh, Ted, she really irks me. She really does. I suppose it's a girl thing because I'm not the makeup-y, like girly girl. It's, does my hair, before I step out of the house and, like get my Botox and all my lips done. I'm just not that girl.
No, you're not.
So maybe that bothers me about her. I don't know. But then you hear about like her stupid memoir about killing animals and how she tries to act like she's some tough chick. And then she becomes Homeland Secretary, and then she's running around ice raids like in like stiletto heels and like taking selfies, and the whole thing about everything about her just kind of,
well, she's a witch.
Like
she's a witch.
Nails on a chalkboard for me.
Everything about her is horrible. She's a terrible person.
Nails on a chalkboard for me. Just and then having the affair with Trump's Corey Lewandowski. Ugh.
Yeah, she's yucky. She's a yucky girl.
She's just all of it is just blah.
I bet she smells bad.
No, I bet you she's one of those over perfumed chicks.
Yeah, but when you get down to the core, like after a shower, I bet she smells awful. Every part of her.
I know what you mean.
Every part.
I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, there's something that is disturbing about the chicks that are over perfumed, like when you're in the girls' locker room, like in high school when you're like changing and you're going through puberty, your hormone, you know what I mean? So you boys stink the worst when you're like 15, right?
Yep.
Girls go through that too, in a different way, but we mask better. And then I remember, and I'm sensitive to perfumes and stuff. Oh God, I hated being in gym class and having to change next to a particular girl because she was always going with body spray everywhere. And I would get like headaches. I feel like Christy Nome is that girl. She's that girl that wanted to have makeup on at gym class and her hair cute, like in gym class. She's that girl.
She's a bad girl.
Not into it. Anyway, all right. Last story. This is the thing for the holidays, Ted. Okay. So when detectives from the Santa Rosa PD arrived at a house in Lake County, California, they discovered a major crime scene. There were decapitated heads everywhere. Bodies organized in neat rows. While this may sound gruesome, thankfully, we're talking about a Leggo crime scene. Just in time for Halloween, decapitated heads, and Christmas, Ted. We're not far from Christmas now. Tubs and bins brimmed with loose pieces, tens of thousands of them, according to the police, and were scattered across desks in the living room. Unopened sets lined the hallway floors. An investigation that began last month culminated in the arrest of one Robert Lopez, age 39. The police said in a statement on Wednesday that Mr. Lopez had stolen more than $6,000 worth of these popular toys. Quote, Lopez was directing others to steal expensive Leggo sets and purchasing the stolen property at a reduced price to turn around and resell the sets or individual minifigures at inflated prices. It was not immediately clear who was buying from Mr. Lopez, so they don't know who his Johns were, Ted, buying these bodies. On Friday, the investigation was still ongoing to, quote, identify others involved and locate the retailers from where the Legos were stolen, says Sergeant Patricia Seffens of the police department. Mr. Lopez was charged with, among other things, organized retail theft and conspiracy to commit a felony. Under California law, those convicted of a felony of organized retail theft can face up to 3 years in prison. It was not immediately clear whether Mr. Lopez had a lawyer. The police said that when they visited Lopez's garage, it had about 100 assembled minifigures displayed on shelves. How sick, Ted, sick! Along with unopened sets and broken down packaging. Quote, the scene suggested systemic sorting and potential resale activity consistent with fencing operations involving high-demand collectible items, the police said. Lego sets, their costs range from $5 to over $1,000, according to the company's website. The company has a long history of selling limited edition collectible items and packages that can resell for much higher than their retail price. Some Leggo products can increase in value by 10% a year, says Will Jensen, the chief operating officer of Brick Lab, which is a family-owned toy store in Frisco, Texas, that buys and sells Leggo products. And Ted, I know a one of these Leggo second, what would you call it? Not a retailer, but similar to this, family-owned store in Texas. I know somebody that does that, buys the collectibles, sometimes assembles them, and it takes them, I mean, it depends, right? It could take days or weeks sometimes to assemble these really gigantic Lego scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they can sell for tens of thousands of dollars once they're fully assembled. Lego is like it's a serious thing. And the collector pieces, they're going up 10% a year. I mean, do the math, Ted. That is going to get you, buying a collector piece is going to yield you more than any CD at any mainstream bank, than any savings account at any bank. Like, no, there's no high yield bank that's going to offer you that kind of return, 10% a year. It is crazy. Like the Lego thing, maybe because I have a little boy, but the Lego thing is serious. As the holidays come up, they're rich people have, they're spoiled kids that want, I guess this guy, Mr. Lopez, knows that, obviously. And with the holidays coming up, he's ramping up his theft ring. And as we know, Ted, okay, Santa Rosa is not far from San Francisco. I have family there. It's a nice like wine country, vibe. You would never think there would be such gruesome crimes happening there, Ted. Decapitated Lego heads everywhere, in the thousands, right? Like body parts just strewn about in this beautiful wine country town. But Ted, it is a lucrative business. And California, under Gavin Newsom, has become like the smash and grab, like retail theft capital of the country. That's why San Francisco has had everything shut down, from CVS to Whole Foods. Like there's like no retail left in San Francisco because of these types of organized theft rings all over California.
That's true.
So
I mean, I got to say,
a larger problem.
So I used to live in Berkeley. I lived in Palo Alto, so I'm a little familiar with the Bay Area, although I did not live in the city of San Francisco, but I spent a lot of time there. And the thing is, when I moved to Berkeley, one of the very first things that happened to me was I drove a really shitty car. It was an 81 Corolla with dents all over it. And nevertheless, some asshole stole the reflector covers off my brake lights. And I remember I was talking to I don't know who, someone in the know. I think it might have been a local cop. And I came to learn that Berkeley had one of the highest per capita petty theft rates in the US, which I found really hard to believe because I'm like, really more than like Baltimore or Detroit. Huh. But I came to learn that all of Northern California is really like a giant theft basket. Basically everyone be stealing all the time there. It's a major fucking problem. And like basically you gotta like keep all your shit locked up all the time there because
out of sight. Not only locked up,
they're crazy.
Out of sight.
These fucking people are nuts.
Yeah. So I'm saying this is specific to Gavin Newsom's, and this is piggybacking off of Kamala Harris's turn on her crime position when she was those 100+ days that she was running for POTUS. Because she wasn't sure. She wasn't 107. She wasn't sure if she was hard on crime or soft on crime, or like she wasn't sure how to.
Well, the difference between
thread
hard and
that
soft
needle
is such a narrow one, really.
So she's trying to thread that needle, but the retail theft crime in California has surged in the past 10 years, and it was especially just off the rails during COVID. Like, we're talking small
No
mom and pop
question.
shops. I mean, it was untenable for any business, especially a mom and pop, to repeatedly get struck, right? Like, and the worst part was that all up and down the state, it wasn't an LA thing, it wasn't a San Francisco thing, it was a whole California thing where people were getting slaps on the wrist, no cash bail, out, and they're back out.
Yeah, the judges don't care, basically.
No.
It's very strange, I got to say, because I mean, like, even here, not long ago, I saw some gross, disgusting homeless guy, like, basically scooping, like, he was like, bleh, 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 you know, talking to himself like monster style, like, bleh, bleh.
Yeah.
And you know the type. And he was scooping. He had a garbage bag, and he was scooping up all the candies from the front of, like, the drugs. I think it was a CVS. And everyone's, like, terrified, right? Like, everyone's just looking like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And the clerks are like, hey man, we were told, like, not to fucking do anything, so we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Look, I don't blame the clerks. If your boss tells you, you know, you wear a fucking orange shirt, you wear an orange shirt, right? But I mean, what I don't understand is sort of like, so there was another dude there, and I look at him and I'm kind of like thinking, we can roll man style and take care of this right now, right? But he's not man style. It's like, you know, we could just be like, hey, cut the shit. The guy wasn't visibly armed or anything. What's going to happen? Nothing.
He was just,
I mean, you know, we might
there.
have to take a shower afterwards because he was so gross and yucky. Who wants to touch him, right? But I wasn't worried about him. I thought, well, we could just punch him out, right? And people might say, like, but I think that, honestly, this is where liberalism really goes to fail. It's like you can't, I don't care about CVS. I don't care about their profits. And, like, yeah, there's a risk to be made, but it's not about CVS, and it's not about protecting corporate profits. It's about maintaining society.
Order in our society. Yes.
If you don't have society, you got nothing.
Well,
you know,
imagine.
I don't know that everyone, I don't know that liberals understand that.
No, I agree. And like this Leggo story, because I'm a boy mom, I go to the Leggo store and I let him, like, he's so happy when he goes to, you know, I mean, obviously he's a 7-year-old boy. Of course he's thrilled if he goes into a Leggo store, right? How scared would I be if one of those smash and grabs happened while I was there with my kid?
It'd be, well, like I said, it wasn't a smash and grab, but it was a grab and grab.
Right, at least a grab. Right.
There's something very disconcerting about, like, the blah, 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 you know.
Well, I don't think Mr. Lopez and his gang is, you know, the blah blah.
No,
they sound like they're living well with a nice business. House in Santa Rosa.
No, it's a business for them. Yeah,
it's a business for them, but it's organized retail. I mean, look, this is no different than like what would that charge be, Ted, that you would give, like, mob bosses? This is the same thing.
RICO?
This is, like, this is
racketeering.
This is racketeering, RICO, along the lines of everything that you would normally charge a mobster with. And sure, you can say it's trivial because it's Legos, but at the end of the day, we're talking about,
because it's Legos,
tens of thousands of dollars. It's worth tens of thousands of dollars at the end of the day. Like, and like you said, Ted, it's about social order. That's me as a mom. I should not be at the Lego store and worried that that's going to happen.
And people might say you're a lefty, and that, by the way, for people who want to know the difference between leftists and liberals, leftists believe in social order. The Soviet Union didn't let googly moogly people go into stores and just rob them, and they wouldn't have told the clerks not to do anything. You know, I guarantee you, under Mao in China and now in China, there's no fucking way they tolerate that shit.
Oh, no.
At all. Social order is very important. China understands. They've gone. That's like Russia and China are countries with And they know how fucking ugly it is. I mean, I came back from Afghanistan the first time, and it totally like opened my eyes to this. Like people were like, oh, they want democracy. And I was like, no, they don't care about democracy. Like they need law and order first. Because without law and order, you can't have democratic elections or campaigning. Without law and order, because you'll kill your rival candidates. Without law and order, you can't have a free press, because if you draw a cartoon in the paper that someone doesn't like, they can just kill you. Without law and order, you can't have nice infrastructure because people will come and steal it and vandalize it. So you got to have social law and order is first. It's the foundation of any kind of society, whether that's, and it doesn't matter what their religion is, their race, their political system, their economic configuration.
But Ted, what about all the libs? All the libs saying, these types of petty thefts are not, like violent crimes. They're crimes of necessity. That's the argument. They're crimes of necessity, Ted.
I don't think anybody's starving to death for lack of Legos.
She's a poor single mom, Ted. She's a poor single mom stealing the Lego to sell on the black market honestly, to feed her kids.
If it's a Les Mis situation and someone's like stealing a loaf of bread to feed their starving family, I don't think that person needs a job. That person doesn't need a prison sentence, right? But that's not what we're talking about here. I mean, you can't in no society is theft like okay, right? I mean, it just isn't.
Yeah. It's so last thing we'll say, and we'll say goodbye, Ted, is that like this is theft in America is a major problem, and like Robbie says, broken windows is a thing. I used to think that was a racist. I mean, I came from liberal California. I used to think the whole Giuliani broken windows, all that shit was a racist policy. And
well, there's something to it. It's not like it's not magic. It's not like
no.
It's not enough as a policy. I mean, and the problem is it leads to all sorts of abuses.
It's a psychological thing,
like stop and frisk.
Right? Stop and frisk is a totally different thing. But the broken windows thing is like if you make for nice things, people tend to, or they used to. I don't know about now, but psychologically, it worked that way. Is like people care more when it's pretty, right? Like when things are nice. That's like true. People tend to care more about keeping it nice, and
they're vested in it. It's like when I bought a very cool car. I bought a 1966 Plymouth Barracuda, cool car, and I remember being concerned that it would attract the wrong kind of attention, and get vandalized. And my mechanic said, no, actually, don't worry about it. Like people have respect for beautiful old cars, and I was like, what about hoodlums? And she said, no. She was a lesbian. She's like, of course, lesbian auto chick.
I was going to say, she's like, wow, a chick mechanic.
Berkeley. And I was kind of like, well, we have Lauren Fix. I mean, I don't know if she's a lesbian or not, but she's.
I don't know. No, she's not. She's a straight married mom with kids.
By the way, we need Lauren Fix back. We got to have her back.
Yeah, she's great.
She's been. We'll just make up an excuse, like some car story, because she's awesome.
Yeah, she's so. Great. But
yeah.
Anyway, people don't mess. Well, I don't know about now, because now you had the whole like Tesla thing, and now I think people are really not they weren't like before where they would respect like a nice car. I think there are people out there that are just evil.
I think that's
now.
Still true. I think most people like nice things, and
no, for the most part,
they don't want them
they just
kind of
want to peek and kind of look inside the car. Yeah, they kind of take. It's not even take pride. It's just people take better care if they're
they also like them better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
people
special.
like being around nice things. So
they like things that are people like things that are rare too. I mean, it's sort of interesting.
Which is why San Francisco has become the shit hellscape it's become, is because they let the city turn into shit. Which is why, like, I guarantee you, this Robert Lopez guy was going into the Leggo store in San Francisco at the big mall there. I guarantee you, it's that. I can almost guarantee. It's
Let me
that
tell
Leggo
you
store.
two stories, and I apologize if you've ever heard these before, but maybe some people who are listening have not. That really, to me, embodied part of why I really hated living in the Bay Area, and also embodied the phenomenon that you're talking about. So when there's crime or there's wrongdoing, yes, you can call the police, right? But like, if someone's smoking, like in a place where no smoking is, the police really shouldn't be called for that, right? Like, the police have better things to do. That's a place where human beings are supposed to walk up to the miscreant and inform them that they need to cut it out, right? And so,
Sure.
I remember two things. One time I'm walking on University Avenue in Berkeley, and this big white jockey dude is like, he had a big gulp, and it was like 3/4 full, and he just throws it on the sidewalk. And the trash can was literally 10 feet away. So I walk up to him, and I'm like, "Hey man, sidewalk, the trash can's right there." Before he can even tell me to punch me in the face or tell me to fuck off or anything, this other dude, he's not with him, a witness, just a passive witness, goes up to me, shoves me in the shoulder, and goes, "Hey man, maybe he has his reasons." And I'm like, "You're going to have a fucking reason to pick up your fucking teeth from the fucking ground if you don't shut the fuck up," right? And,
he was defending the litter box?
Yes. And that's the liberalism gone wrong.
San Francisco Bay. See what I mean?
The assumption is that, like, the assumption is that if you're like doing something wrong that goes outside of social norms, that this is because like you were disadvantaged in some way. Another time, I'm at the movie theater, also in Berkeley, on Shattuck Boulevard, so that people know I know my Berkeley. And there's a line to get in. It's a fairly popular movie. I forget what it was. And just as the last show let it out and they're about to let us in, the like a couple of like black teenagers, maybe 3 probably from Oakland, which is next door, they started to cut the line. And I'm like, New Yorker, So I walk up and I'm like, "Hey, line's back there." Again, before they can like do anything to me, all the liberals with like the fucking tie-dye shirts and fucking scraggly hair, motherfucker, boomer assholes started like, "Hey man, they're disadvantaged." I'm like, how racist could you be? What? These could be rich kids. You have no idea. You just assume they're like fucking. It's like, wait, I don't care if they're disadvantaged. I was disadvantaged.
They're minorities.
They were black. Get to the back of the line, bitches. And like, I mean, that's the thing.
Are you kidding?
My complaint wasn't with the asshole litter bug or line cutter. My problem was with like a society where, like, for example, in the Bay Area, the culture is that, let's say someone's doing something wrong and you give them a gentle little toot in their car. That's considered like a violation of all that is right and holy. And everyone will come out of their cars and maybe attack
You're the asshole for
you're the asshole. I had one time, I'm in Berkeley. The light turns green. The guy's so fucking tarded out or high that he misses he's at the front of the line. He missed the entire cycle. It stays green, goes to yellow, then red. Then the light turns green again. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going to toot, right? Because I know the culture by then. I don't give him the which he deserves.
The Blair.
I just give him the toot, toot. This other guy is so enraged next to me, unrelated, that he spit his tobacco onto my car window, started screaming. And I'm like, because I'm honked. I mean, so that's the thing. In a society like, or another time, I can go on and do this. I'm on BART. And the BART is like stopped for like 45 minutes. And I talked to a local during rush hour. I go, everyone's a really calm. New Yorkers would be freaking out. I'm like, is it always like this? And they said, yeah, it's always like this. I go, you guys don't do anything?
What?
And they go, and they're like, what could you do? I'm like, if the subway were like this in New York, people would go to the MTA meetings in Brooklyn and raise hell and scream.
Well, us
SoCal, well, we wouldn't do that. That's too much work.
Well, us SoCalis, we're very chill, except for when it comes to our commute.
Oh,
We will
well,
fucking
that's
run
true.
you off the road. Get a
Yeah,
fucking
well,
move on. Like that's
right, fair.
we will honk, we will go around you, we will drive over your fucking car. That's the one area that we're very like trigger happy is in our commute. Like that's if you don't go when the light turns green,
I like, and the part of the reason that I like Southern California far better than I like Northern California.
And people will definitely
Because
talk shit to you.
the thing is, it's a society, and it might not have exactly the same rules as you know, as New York does, but it does have rules, and you are expected to be considerate of the people around. You know, and that's not true
when it comes to our traffic laws. But here's last thing, Ted, is that I don't expect, you know, the shopkeepers at Lululemon to be a hero, right? When somebody's
No.
trying to come in and retail grab, like, you know, like just rack grab everything, right? I don't expect the Lululemon workers to be a hero. I don't expect the Leggo
own that
workers.
Lululemon and you shoot those people,
Well, I
have
don't
no
think they're
problem with
franchises.
you at
I think
all.
they're just they're corporate stores. But either way, I don't expect any of the workers like that's not. I get it. That's not their job. Even if their law, like what kills me is in California, the laws that prevent the security guards that we hire to act in any forget lethal manner.
What's the
forget
point?
lethal manner. Forget lethal. They can't even act in a physical manner. Number one. Number two, law enforcement. Law enforcement don't even bother to arrest these people because then they have to go through, you know, 2 hours of paperwork because you're charging 20 teenagers, right? Like grabbing things at Nordstrom, right? So now you've got 20 kids, you've got a, you know, a pile of paperwork you got to file only for the DA to throw the case out and be like, I'm not charging these kids. Right. That's the problem. That is the problem. The laws in the books, and then all of the chain of command. It's I don't even. Yes, you can blame the cops for not wanting to book these people, but why?
Well, they know they've learned that it's not the cops' fault. They know it's not that nothing will happen.
Nothing happens, you know. So they go through 2 hours of paperwork just to submit to the DA, and the DA gets it, and they throw it out, and everyone goes free anyway. So it's just the system is completely broken down in California, and this Leggo story is one of the lights, a shining little light, Ted, that says maybe, just maybe, there's a chance my home state can be what I remember it to be, you know, in the 80s, where you can ride your bike and leave it on the front yard and nobody steals it. Like, maybe.
No, that's not true. I mean, honestly, I'm a New Yorker. Okay, I've lived in New York most of my life, and I'm scared of like leaving. I'm much more worried about being mugged or robbed in Southern California. In California. California is much more dangerous. Your chances of being robbed or whatever are much higher.
That's why I'm saying I'm hoping this
Leggo
story gives me hope.
The other problem is no one will help you if you are in trouble in Northern California. No one will come to your in Northern California. Let's say you're stopped on the side of the road, broken down. No one will stop and help you. And I know this from experience. Even the cops won't stop and help you.
They don't even rubberneck to look and see if you are in distress. In SoCal, we'll at least rubberneck to assess, like, are you bleeding? Okay, you're fine. You know, at least there's that. In NorCal, they just boom, 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 keep driving by. Anyway, all right. So that's it.
They honestly, they're bad people. I'm just saying.
It is a different environment. I can't stress this enough. NorCal from SoCal, two totally different vibes, two totally different environments, but the only thing we have in common is the up and down the state. Obviously, our people are ruled by Gavin Newsom right now, and the weakening of law and order by Gavin Newsom, and now he's trying to weasel his way.
Honestly, I don't know how he's made anything worse. I think it's just a continuity.
It is, you know? and that he look, the people that we elect to all of our to the state senate, all those people suck ass too. They're the ones weakening all the laws and allowing crime to run rampant. We pick people as states attorney generals like Kamala Harris, who, you know, like, well, back then she was strong on crime. The new people now are like, no, we have to feel sorry for the criminals.
Yeah, she was very strong on crime. She was so strong on crime that she sent innocent people to death row.
That's right.
Strong.
She was really strong.
She's even
strong.
Even strong on non-existent crime.
That's right, man. 3 strikes of that non-existent crime, you're in for life, buddy. That was Kamala Harris. And she's like, yes. But now, remember, when she ran 107 days, she said she's all about reform and saving the criminals and helping them be better people.
Except for the innocent ones who she sent to prison.
No, they're there for life. They're not going to ever see a judge to get that squared away. Anyway, okay, so that's it for us on this Monday. Happy Diwali, I guess. Festival of Lights. I don't know. I thought that was Hanukkah, but the Indians stole it. But the Diwali is a festival of lights. I don't know who had it first, the Jews or the Indians. Those are really old cultures, so I don't know.
They can have a fight.
Festival of Lights. I don't know. That's what Diwali is.
They should have a holiday off.
Right. Whose holiday is bigger? I don't know. Both the Festival of Lights. Who gets to call it? Who gets the tagline? It's not
the size of your holiday. It's what you do with it. Yeah.
Well, there's way more Indians, Ted, so they would win. Like way, way more Hindus. Way more. So anyway, happy Diwali if you're celebrating. Adios, amigos. We'll see you tomorrow on a Tuesday. So let's see what happens. I'm counting down to Budapest. I want to see if like Viktor Orban hosts and he's like really in Trump's ear, because you know Trump really likes Viktor Orban.
Yeah,
and MAGA world really loves Viktor Orban.
But he doesn't like Viktor Orban as much as he likes Javier Milei, because he's giving Milei $20 billion just for fun.
That's so weird.
It's not his money. It's my money and your money.
No, but you know. Yeah, but Milei gifted America and Elon Musk a gold chainsaw.
Oh, that's cool.
At CPAC, I was there. There was gold CPAC, golden chainsaw, Ted, to cut all the bullshit. I guess was the idea.
Well, maybe
that was when,
just the gold aspect was the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. $20 billion. That's what it cost.
Insane.
All right, guys, that's it. Adios, amigos. Happy Monday.
Bye.
Bye, all. Thank you.